You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And I'm Closky.
Back again. It's been a minute, and we are glad to have Evan back on the show. We are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays, as well as all the other podcasting platforms. You can also find us on the social medias and email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. In fact, we do have a mailbag episode today with Evan, so gives you more reason to send those mailbag questions, comments, and concerns and hot takes into us as well. All right. Before we dive into those mailbag questions, Evan, brief synopsis on how the Rays fared, your evaluation of the Rays against the Minnesota Twinkies.
You got the job done, right? I think, the Rays coming out of that July slumber of whatever the heck we watched, they're continuing to win pretty much every series these days, with some exceptions, but that's the goal. Take 2 of 3, take 3 of 4, 2 of 4, whatever it might be. Outside of the next series that's coming up, which seems pretty important to take as many as you can get. But I thought overall, really impressed once again, kind of with Tyler Glass now. I know he gave up the 3-run homer, kind of pooped out there maybe an inning too soon, but he looks like a big old problem coming down the stretch here. Hopefully he stays healthy. They need him desperately. But, man, giving that guy the ball in game 1, like if I'm the opposing team, I'm pretty scared about that. So go to Littell. This guy has emerged as just such a fantastic kind of 4th and 5th starter. He was really kind of that give up 4 runs per game type dude. And again, I don't even blame him for the home run he gave up. The guy golfed it out of there. It was a good pitch. It was a ball. And sometimes major leaguers do special things too from the hitting side. But he continues to eat up innings, which I think is so important for this rotation and what they have going on. And Taj is progressing. The pitch mix is working in his favor. Still think he's a little young and immature in the sense of kind of how we used to watch Shane McClanahan when he was younger. It would snowball a little bit, and he wouldn't be able to course correct on the fly. And then, recently before his Tommy John, especially at the beginning of this year, Shane McClanahan had an elite level of getting himself into trouble and correcting immediately to avoid it altogether. So I think you're seeing the very beginnings of Taj Bradley being a pretty solid 2 or 3 in this league. But, Yandy Diaz, his balls are okay. And I think we're, as long as he's doing well, I think that for the most part, the Rays fans base is doing well too.
Yeah, testicular contusion. Only Yandy Diaz would be able to play a baseball game in less than 12 hours of being told that he has a testicular contusion. I think every other man that's watching this show would be like, I'm going to take a day or 2, but not Yandy Diaz.
I think that was just like, I really wanted Rays PR to send like a note to all media members, like Yandy Diaz left game for getting hit in the nuts. Like I really wanted that. I certainly had fun with that on air the other day. But yeah, I mean, he is like top 3 MVP guy. Ohtani's going to win the award still, even missing the last month of action. But like, if you took Ohtani out of the equation, there's a debate. There's a strong debate for Yandy.
Yeah, no, I agree. Boys, it's time for mailbags, Kevin.
Ulises, we do have to get to those mailbag questions, but first we have to tell the audience about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, Whether you're into speed, power, style, eBay Motors has got you covered with it all. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money is returned. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that W. Keep your ride or die alive at ebay.com/motors. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. It's very important. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply. All right, getting into these mailbag questions, we have a trio of them. This first one from Sam. He posits to us, can we go 700 plus to finish the regular campaign and set a new franchise record of 101 wins after that historic 13-0 start? I'm not superstitious, but not washing this powder blue jersey until then either. We've been on a tear here late when it matters. Just kidding. I'm completely superstitious.
Just a little stitious.
Yeah.
Probably not. Let me say this. If they do hit a hundo, there is, or in this case, right, 101, which means that they would go 11-4 here down the stretch. I would argue they're going to win the division, because to do that, you would think that they're going to take at least 3 or 4 from the Orioles. If they're going to have a run like that, they're going to have to take 3 or 4. I'd say that they're probably going to split in Baltimore. That's just what conventional wisdom tells us. Both really good teams, probably evenly matched. Baltimore's gotten a little bit better of Tampa Bay in the season series, which means there has to be some balancing out. But overall, I think that you're probably going to get a 2 or 4 there. Then they play the Angels. Would argue you probably have to sweep that if you want to win the division. So that puts you at 5 wins. And then you have to go between you have 6 with the Blue Jays and 2 with the the Red Sox.
2 with the Red Sox, and then 6 with the Blue Jays. 1-1, like one is at home, and one is a visitor. Yeah.
So then what? You got to go 5-3 in that stretch. So I mean, that puts you at 2 with a sweep with the Angels. That's 5, and then going 5-3 to finish it out. That's sort of your formula there to 100. Very possible. To be honest, I don't know.
It's baseball.
Really tough. Yeah, exactly. I don't imagine, even against a team like the Angels, you're probably going to slip up once. My guess is they're probably a 98 win team.
Yeah,
that puts them at 1 game. Doing that. What is that? 8-7 down the stretch, right?
Yeah.
98 puts them there. Even 99 puts them at 9-6. So 98-99 seems about right.
Question. Just one thing. If the Rays actually do pull this off and get to 101 wins, how does Kevin Cash not win American League Manager of the Year?
I don't really know how he wouldn't. I mean, because what your stiffest competition is what? Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
And considering everything the Rays have gone through this year, and to win 100 plus, like, it was only magical for a small stint. Even in the beginning, You didn't have Glass now, but you were pretty fully stocked. And the amount of injuries, if we went through all the starting pitchers, honestly, I'd love to give Kyle Snyder an award.
Yeah.
like Kyle Snyder, I think, has made – this might be his Sistine Chapel, right? Like this season, I mean, where do we even start? Even when Fangraphs is coming out with an article being like, we don't understand why they chose to do this with Zach Littell. all the numbers tell us that this is not the guy to do it with. And yet here we are. What they saw, what they have behind the scenes, I don't know. But it's amazing. The way they turned around the bullpen is amazing.
Yeah.
The way that he's turned Robert Stephenson into
elite.
An elite. He would be a shutdown closer on any other team right now if you just dropped him. I would say there's probably a handful of teams that are probably would choose their closer over him. A small handful. You know, I just it's been truly impressive to watch them overcome adversity time and time again, including that god awful slump where you can roll back the tape on what I was saying on a bunch of things that I was scared about, and I still am to a little extent of it, but it's. Yeah. I think you're right. I think you have to award it to him.
The slump, the injuries, the off the field issues with Wander, and then I mean basically you look at the active roster right now, you got 6-7 position players, at least a handful of position players that are rookies that are getting meaningful action. So for what they're doing is absolutely remarkable. Yeah, I think Kyle Snyder would get support from the likes of Bob Stephenson, from Zach Littell, from Sean Armstrong, from others as well. So
I would love to see a pie chart of how much responsibility on this pitching staff did the different factors have. For example, the front office, the department that focuses on pitching. Is it 25%? Is it 30%? Kyle Snyder, is it 80%? Is it 50%? I would love to see a pie chart on all the different factors that have made this pitching staff what it is. Obviously taking out the players, because obviously the players are the main factor, but just the outside, I would love to see a pie chart. I think it would be really interesting to see how the different parts, combine it so that we can see the product on the field.
And the other thing too is, if the Rays were to get 101 wins, heck, whatever happens the rest of the season, credit to the coaching staff and everybody in the front office for holding forward and holding ship and putting together a successful season. But you just wonder if the people that are voting for this award, if they understand the context and all that has happened to the Rays this season beyond the 13-0 start that was. So just wanted to throw that out there. Second question before we take another breather here from Steve Rains. We've heard from him once or twice before. He says, Isaac Paredes rounding third base and dropping a subtle "you can't see me" to the opponent's dugout might be my favorite flex on national television. Which Rays flex do you guys like the most? And just to add a little addendum here, you could maybe go for obviously the Randy crossed arms gesture. You could go for the Jose Siri bat flip. There might be another one or two out there. So what say you guys?
Series also another point that I forgot to bring up in the Minnesota series. And maybe at the end of this episode, if we have a little time, I'll touch on how the team can my thoughts on the Siri injury, which, he's going to be out the rest of the regular season. And
we're saving that for the Friday episode. That's right. Get your point on that.
Okay. The answer is simple here, and it's Randy Arozarena. Like, here's the thing with Isaac Paredes, right? That's the John Cena. He got that from somewhere. Randy, that's the Randy. Like, that's his. That is his thing. So much so that LSU, Tommy White, who grew up in St. Pete, he brought that over to the LSU dugout, and then they all did it during their national championship campaign. He started something. It's his. It's original, and only he can do it so consistently to the point where I don't think teams take offense to it. Right? It can look like showboating. Early on, we sort of got that. Is he showing up teams and he does it he does it on a single, he does it on a double. It's just what he does. So it's Randy, but the swaggiest flex is always a Jose Siri home run. When he knows it's out and he does the old stare down walk move for four steps, that's always a fun one to see.
I'm gonna I agree with everything you've said, but just to include more names on the pool here, I love the subtlety of Josh Lowe and Harold Ramirez. Yeah, the low, getting that L with the arms, and then the H here with Harold. I think that's such a subtle thing. I love that.
Well, that's the thing is really when people need something, Brandon Lau does his own L. I saw Josh Lowe and Luke Raley were trying to get Isaac to do this for an I.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, but that's I forget. Did Meade do like a? So that's pretty much like their thing. Everyone when they need something, that's like every team kind of has what they go over to the dugout and do. Right, the Dodgers have their old school. So that I don't know if that's you can say that Josh Lowe is like the best of them. I do like that for an L, but especially when he's rounding third after a home run, does the double pump. But
no, I think they're all good. Kevin, do you have a favorite one?
Well, I just want to throw out another option that I don't know. Well, I can say I had never seen this before, so maybe in a way this guy invented this on the defensive side. The old Wander Franco flipping ball to himself on the routine grounder.
Yeah. Also, can let's go back to Siri. Of course, the home run one, the bat flip, and the walking too. But let's not forget, he legitimately is called El Rayo, and he has a tattoo of a lightning bolt. And the dude shows off the tattoo when he rounds third, and when the cameras are on him. So that's also pretty cool. Like you have a tattoo on your body, and that's how you celebrate by showing it off every time. I think that's pretty cool.
That's certainly up there. Siri oozes with swag. I would like for him to ooze with a little more walks, but
a little more getting on base for sure.
a little less breeze.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. We have another mailbag question to hit on, but Ulises, we have to tell the audience about something extremely important.
That is correct. Well, modern medical care and treatment are important, but our global supply chains can be fragile. Things like pandemics, natural disasters, and foreign travel may cut you off from the treatment that you need. Jase Medical is your solution. Just fill out their online form, and one of Jase Medical's board-certified physicians will review it to determine whether medications are safe and appropriate. Then Jase will send your prescriptions to one of their partner pharmacies where your order will be filled and mailed directly to your home. You can also send your physician a message for answers to treatment-related questions anytime. Everyone should be empowered to take care of themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jase Medical offers the Jase Case. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jase Medical, plus an additional $20 off by using promo code LOCKEDON at checkout at jasemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. Use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off at jasemedical.com.
All right, this final mailbag question from Cindy has a question about shortstops and not Wander Franco, thank you. She says, question, do you see Isaac Paredes being able to help out at the shortstop position?
Sure, because we've seen it already. Would I advise for it down the home stretch here? Probably not. Though I'll tell you this, I'd rather see Isaac Paredes there than Vidal Brujan.
Yeah.
Like I get it. But I've seen enough. You're in the heart of a playoff push to try to win the AL East and get a bye. It's just not working out with him at short. Put him at third, put him at second, put him in the outfield. I don't care, but shortstop's been a problem. It has been. And it's not comfortable for him for whatever reason. I don't care how many games he's played. He does not look comfortable out there. And whether a ball takes a certain hop, you can explain every error away. We can all do that with every error, every physical error. You can explain it away. The fact of the matter is, And I know they want to give him a day off because he's got injuries, so you just kind of have to deal with it. But Taylor Walls has to be out there, for all of his faults at the plate, is at least late in games. If you're going to start Basabe, I like Ulises. He's a scrappy kind of hitter. Has flashed with the glove a little more than I anticipated, but his bat isn't anything to brag about either. He hasn't really come up and wooed us in that regard. So I think there's something very interesting about this, and they tried it out before, right? Like Lau, Paredes, Mead, if Mead can be a thing, or somebody at third base, Caminero, to kind of fill that infield, and with Yandy at first, like holy smokes, the amount of hitters you have. I mean, that's, by the way, that's the future of what the Rays are. That's what they're building in their farm system with their draft, and why they keep, other teams are doing this now, but the Rays were on it maybe a year earlier, of getting all the shortstops and then placing them wherever they have to be because they're so athletic. Yeah. That's what they're building. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the Wander Franco stuff in the offseason. We'll discuss what they do at shortstop, period. But, there's a whole debate that I'm sure we'll have a postseason episode. I posed it on Twitter before. And to me, it might be worth the risk in some regards if you're going to give Walls a breather to just put Paredes out there and deal with the massive upside with your bats versus whatever you're trying to do with hanging out in the middle, because Brujan doesn't give you bat or glove right now. So you literally just have speed.
Yeah. I put this on Twitter, like how much does Basabe need to hit? Because overall value is what matters. Kevin and I have talked about this endless times. Like, I don't care if you are the best Gold Glove out there. If you can't hit a lick, overall value is what matters. So the question is, how much does Basabe need to hit in order for his overall value to be over what Taylor Walls can provide for you in the lineup? Because you said, I need Taylor Walls out there. I like the second part you said, which was, or maybe as a defensive replacement. I like that. I know right now Walls, of course, is having a better OPS, at least by 20 points than Basabe. But my question is, if Basabe can develop a better bat than what Walls has shown, how much of a difference you need to see at the plate to say, yeah, I need more Basabe than Walls?
I mean, he's at least, let's get him to 250 and get talking. I mean, at this point, he's a 221 hitter, 284 OBP, 608 OPS. So I agree with you on all like the Walls can't hit worth a lick kind of stuff. Though in the Minnesota series, he pretty much carried this team in that game too. In the first game to get them that win with the 3-run homer, first one since May 14th, I believe. Having said that, you're not getting that much of an upgrade in your bat with Basabe.
No, not right now. No,
you're definitely not getting one right now. Maybe it's in the future.
In the future. Well,
yeah. What is that?
To me, I think there's more. First off, Carson Williams is going to be the future of the shortstop if Wander doesn't, if he's done for with whatever happened with the investigation. So that's your shortstop of the future. So, Basabe needs to at least be a 270 hitter. He's not, even throughout his minor league baseball career, he's never wowed you with OPS. That's not what he does. But if you look at his averages, he's always hit for average. He's always gotten on base. So at minimum, he has to be 270. And for him to sustain a starting spot or to find a regular spot in a lineup, he's got to be hitting around 300 because of his skill set. Now if he's an elite defender and we get to see more of him, we can start decreasing that average a little bit. But it's a very limited skill set for him. The same thing I've always said with Aranda. I love Jonathan Aranda, but unless you can come up here and hit 300 with your limited skill set, you can't stick because we already got Harold Ramirez, who does that job. And guess what? He hits 300, except in the month of July where he was ripping everyone's head off. And that's the problem with guys like him, right? Because when you're not hitting, you are a huge detriment to the team. I can't put you in the field. You're not hitting. You are doing nothing positive for us. Nothing. At least Taylor Walls, for the most part, outside of that one game when he returned and he forgot how to field the ground ball all of a sudden. At least for Taylor Walls, it's like, yeah, you can't hit, but I've seen you make a million great plays. And at least I know that when you're stinking here, you're going to provide for me here. Like Harold, Aranda, those like and Brujan, who's supposed to have a better glove than what he's shown. But Brujan has fallen into that category a little bit. If your glove's not amplifying your game, so now you have to do something in the hitting category. So that's kind of the pressure that goes there. So that's why I say you got to start with 270. Let's see how if the defending continues to look good. And then if you're hitting 270 and your defense continues to look like we've seen it, then to me that's better than Walls.
God, that's 60 points higher than Walls' batting average. We're not even getting to the OPS, and league average is 250. So you're really asking.
Is that league average for a shortstop or league average?
League average is like 250 for the whole MLB. Okay. So
because for a shortstop it's probably like 230, right?
I don't know by position, but just by league average. So you want him to put 20 points over league average. That's lofty. I don't think I don't think that will happen. But I see where you're coming. That just means that you value
his 68 at bats though.
Yeah, it's very little. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think
he was a 300 hitter in the minors.
Look at his minors.
311. He had a 311 batting average in 5 minor league seasons and an 801 OPS.
Yeah. I think what's important is down the stretch of September going into the playoffs. I'd rather have pound for pound Taylor Walls because he has 1,000 plate appearances to his name, 3 years of track record to his name. We know what he can do defensively. We know what he can do on the base paths. We know what he can do as far as drawing a walk and working a count and have an understanding of the strike zone. I think those little inches matter at the end of the day. So he's probably not going to be on the highlight reel or whatnot, but I think he's a winning player and a player that would be an important cog when you're trying to win games in the playoffs and so forth. So, all right. We have another episode with Evan for Friday. So be sure you stick around for that. In the meantime, thank you all for listening. Hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.